Hey, happy, where are we at? Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. First off, shout out to Malarkey with the 10 on the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you for starting off things. I appreciate it. Also, shout out to Norman Henderson with the 5 on the super sticker. Much love and appreciation, y'all. Thank you for bearing with me. I had I had every intention to come on like 2 hours previously, and today was just one of those one of those days. So bear with me, but again, thank you for being here, y'all. Thank you for joining in, guys. As you're coming in here, also be sure to hit the like button. I'm going to I want to just get right into it, y'all. I was going back and forth as to whether or not I should again do another Lori Harvey thing, because after a while, it's just kind of like beating a dead horse. But I know I had enough of you guys who wanted me to, share my perspective. So I'll do that. Also, Malarkey, I see you. I have to work on getting some more interviews set up. So more to come on that. But just to get right into what's going on, y'all. I mean, I'm sure you guys are, fully aware of all the drama surrounding Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan's recent breakup. Yada yada yada. It seems like every new day there's somebody else is talking about it. But here's really what I want to focus on. This breakup, although there's still a lot of stuff that we don't know. There's still a lot of speculation. At the end of the day, though, this breakup I see being used as a reason for women to promote misandry yet again. I saw one in particular, one content famous, a pretty large content creator. She pinned a post or actually I shared it on the community tab, right, where the woman was just like, "I love this woman. I love how she moves in silence and treats these men like disposable, like goals." Right, I've heard this theme over and over again. Women are excited. They're cheering. They love how she moves. They love how she's operating because they want that to be them. They want that to be them. And here's another thing that I've noticed. These women act like they're doing something new and innovative. They act as if they've come into some new revelation, some new brand new way of thinking and being, and that they've like invented something completely fresh. And here's the thing about it: these modern women, and when I speak of modern women, I'm thinking about really the Sisterhood of Failure. Some we call them that. We've called them females. Some people like to call them, but this is women who have embraced a toxic and destructive ideology. These are the very women who think that they're doing something new. They think that they're all of a sudden they're waking up and they're, gaining understanding, and they're operating differently than women have previously operated before, and they're acting like it. They're, giving themselves high fives, boosting themselves up, acting as if they're doing something new. And here's the thing. That I really want to highlight. These women who are promoting this misandry, this is nothing new. As I've mentioned before, there has always been a distinction across time. There's always been a distinction between women who are wives, women who are not wives. Cultures have always had ways of distinguishing that. There's also always been a distinction between women who have, morals or class, women who have values, integrity, whatever, and those women who want to treat themselves like garbage. That's always existed. That has always existed within every culture. Now, what we have today, however, we have a culture where, the kind of women that maybe our great grandmothers or great grandmothers told us to avoid, those women now have the microphone. Those women are now being promoted. Those women are the ones in the front. But those women have always existed. They have always been here. Women with adulterous hearts, women with evil intentions, women with Jezebel spirits, as some of you guys have heard it, women who are toxic, they've always been around. And so here's the interesting thing about it to me, again, as I've been listening, just kind of, peering into different spaces, hearing what some women have to say, and the way that they're operating as if they're doing something new. That's the cold part about it, as if they're creating a brand new playbook. And they're not. Actually, you said, "Oh, the woke ones." They're so woke and yet they're asleep. They're not. They don't understand that they're already that the game is already set. that the end has already been established. They're literally playing a new, like an old playbook that's been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and yet they're thinking of doing something innovative. And here's the downside about it. Because these women have convinced themselves that they are operating in a completely new manner, when in fact all they're doing is just repeating the toxicity of women that have been, like I said, this has been going on for centuries upon centuries. We already know what's going to happen. We already know what's going to happen. Anytime you give yourself into, you do bad things happen to you. You can call it the laws of reaping and sowing. You may call it karma, whatever it may be, but bad energy, all that. But at the end of the day, the laws of reaping and sowing are always in effect. And what we have today is a culture of women who are celebrating bad results, celebrating bad intentions, celebrating failure, and thinking that they're doing something new and innovative, and they're not. They're not. And not only is it not innovative, it is dangerous. It is dangerous. And it's like, I feel like every few days, I continue to see women celebrate failure and celebrate foolishness and act as if it's something fresh and new, and act as if it's so intelligent, and then also act as if they are so spiritually devout, or they are so spiritually in tune that they have great discernment, as they walk around blind and don't even understand that they're literally doing the same destructive things that women have been doing for centuries. As I said before, there has always been a difference between wives, right? There's always been a difference between women of class or women with means, integrity, whatever it may be, versus, you can call it Jezebel spirit, concubine spirit, whatever it may be. There's always been a distinction made between wives and concubines. And even more importantly, there's always been a distinction. Remember, there was always that woman. If you think of grandparents or great grandparents, right? There was always those women or those people that they would say, avoid, don't be around them, do not hang around them. It always existed. Always. Always. And like I say, now, these are the women who, for some reason, have the microphone. These are the ones that have the loudest message. But I'm here to tell you that if you think that, for example, looking at this whole situation with Lori Harvey, right? Just using it as a prime example. One of the reasons women love that is because they see her behavior as basically a woman exercising her options, right? They see her behavior really as a woman treating men as disposable. This invigorates them. This makes them feel like finally they have the power. Finally, they have the control. Finally, they're the one calling the shots. Why? Because they want to compete with men. They don't want to work with men. They don't want to they don't want to respect any kind of authority. They hate order. They hate order. So these women, like I said, they don't like men. They don't respect men, and in some instances they want to be men, quite literally. And so they're looking at the situation of Lori Harvey and they are rejoicing because they're saying, finally, we have the upper hand. Men can't do this to us anymore. We're competing. We're showing them that we got options. We're showing them that we can do it too. We're showing them it's all about competition. It is all about competition. And here's a cold part about it. The same women who look at Lori Harvey and say, yay, 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 yay. This shows us that men are disposable. She's changing men like she's changing purses. She's changing men like she's changing outfits. Men are disposable. We can do it too. The same women who are looking at the situation and they're running with that narrative conveniently overlook the fact that Lori Harvey would be nothing if it wasn't for her father and if it wasn't for the men that she put herself around. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Before, if there was no Steve Harvey, would there be a Lori Harvey? If Steve Harvey had not married her mom, took on the kids, had her be around all these different celebrity people. I mean, she's been in this circle, in this high class circle because of her stepfather. If it was not for Steve Harvey, would there be a Lori Harvey? Would that exist? Would that exist? So every single one of these women who are looking at men as disposable conveniently overlook the fact that Lori Harvey would not exist if it was not for Steve Harvey. That is to say, Lori Harvey's brand, who she is today, her opportunities, her platform, It would not exist if he was not there. If he had not taken in her and his mom and the kids, given her the opportunities that she had, given her access to the different celebrities and probably different producers and all these different people in positions of power, if it was not for him, there would be no Lori Harvey. So again, just getting back to my earlier point, these same women who love this idea of treating men disposable are literally glaring into a contradiction. Like I said, Lori Harvey would be nothing without her father. She wouldn't. And so, and I see, Shay, it's a revenge factor for them. Collective revenge. Absolutely. Collective revenge. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And then on top of that, I've seen people use this scenario, modern women, right? Use this scenario as a reason to promote women, delaying marriage, putting off kids, exercising their options, all these different things. We talked about this a few days ago, how when women talk about finding themselves, how it usually is always connected to sexual promiscuity, or at the very least, it's always connected to taking advantage of men, having different dating situations or different dating scenarios where, of course, he's going to pay. He's supposed to pay, and he should pay. But also, just make sure that you don't have sex with them, or maybe you do have sex with them. You toy with them. You play with their emotions. But basically, just have as many different dating scenarios, have as many different sexual partners as you want. Women, get what you can get from the guy, but don't commit. Don't commit. Do not commit until you're ready. This is a conversation that is being had. And all I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, what we're seeing is women, not only are they promoting bad, toxic behavior, they're promoting things that are going to lead to bad results. And they think they're innovative. Some of these women are using this as a reason to go around and just, sleep with as many dudes as possible. Some of these women are using this as a reason to manipulate men and to take advantage of men and to screw men over and to treat them, like I said, like they're disposable. And they're acting like this is something new. It's not new. These kinds of women have always existed. But here's the thing about it. These kinds of women never have a good ending. They never have a good ending. They never have a good ending. And so, like I said, while we will never fully know as to why Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan split, I know there's some sources that say that, I think it was People and Yahoo who were saying, okay, she was not ready to commit. Let's just assume that's true. She was not ready to commit. Okay. If she does it, she's exploring her options. She's not going to settle for less. If Michael B. Jordan does it, he's a commitment phobe. So double standards. And like I said, it's just, at the end of the day, what I am seeing here is that we have women out here who they just, I said they don't want salvation. They don't want salvation. They don't want success. They don't even want to change. They just want to continue in their own foolishness. They want to continue in their own evilness. And so they love situations like this that give them a reason to continue lying to themselves. But what they forget is, like I said, they are playing into an old game, a game that's already been established, a game where the winner has already been chosen, and they're not the winners. They're the ones at the end. If they move with bad intentions and they move with bad motives and they try to take advantage of men and people, it'll come back to bite them in the butt. It always does. That is the laws of reaping and sowing. And encouraging women to treat men as disposable, telling women that, Lori Harvey, she's my role model. My goal is to pass through as many dudes as possible and to be a heartbreaker. Telling women to do that kind of stuff and not to that's not going to impact you. Act as if when you get older, when you need men, because trust me, you do. Trust me, there's no society exists where women can operate without men and not need them in some capacity. Like I said, even Lori Harvey, they like to position her as a strong, independent-minded woman. She would be nothing without a father. Even her. But again, they use these kind of situations, modern women use these kind of situations to promote their own foolish ideology. And the reason I have an issue with that is because you have young, impressionable girls who are looking at this stuff as if it's normal. Like I said, these are the kinds of women that for our great grandparents or maybe years ago, these are the kinds of women that didn't have a voice. These are the kind of women that maybe our great grandparents would say, stay away from her. Don't go around that crowd. She has issues. She has her own problems. She needs to work it out. These are the kinds of women that our elders used to warn us against. Now, these are the women that have platforms and they have loud voices and they have microphones and they have the ability to spread their toxicity. But as I said before, although they are pushing and they are promoting this idea that what they are saying is, it's liberation finally, and it's freedom for women, and women can just do whatever they want and not have to commit and not have to hurt their bodies and not have to have kids, and they can sleep around and treat men as disposable and only commit if they want to, and if they don't want to commit, it's their right, and all this BS at the expense of men. They're saying it's like it's something new, but it's not. Women who embrace the mentality of manipulating men as a means to their own pleasure will end up with bad results in the end. It will not go well with you. And also, if you are a woman who does decide to delay marriage, not have kids, focus on the cure, and you just focus on the cure, whatever it may be, you better have a very, 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 very good career. I mean, Kevin Samuels talks about this perfectly, right? In some of his previous content, where he was like, okay, if you're going to be a career woman, you better make sure you are making some good money, because who's going to be there for you when you're in retirement age? Are you going to have the health care? Are you going to have enough money in the bank? So you better make sure that if you decide to go that route, you don't have kids as a backup plan, you don't have a husband as a backup plan, whatever it may be, you have actually sustained yourself financially. A lot of these women who are holding on to this fantasy, they ain't got retirement like that. They have a retirement like that. They have jobs, which is fine. But like I said, if you are a grocery store clerk, and the hashtag no judgment, one of the grocery stores I go to out in my city, I see plenty of black women, older black women, grocery store clerks. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you are a black woman and you're like, no kids, I ain't gonna have no kids, I'm gonna focus on myself, I'm gonna do me, and you are 56 years old, grocery store clerk, no judgment, but you don't even have the finances now. You don't have the finances or the money or the brand that Lori Harvey does to be operating like her. You can't even afford to be a boss babe. You can't even afford to be a level up chick. You can't even afford to be single and independent, because at that point, the money that you're making is not going to be able to sustain you. So no matter how you look at it, telling women, encouraging women to treat men as disposable, as if they have options, and celebrating women who use men, who manipulate men, who tell them to, go out, date, have them spend money on you, but don't give sex to him, or don't really have a relationship with him. Just have fun, just date, just have fun, taste the rainbow, whatever feminist toxic ideologies these women use to give women a reason to opt out and not commit. It's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. Guys, if you're on here, get those likes up. Also, shout out to Marco Polo with the $4.99 on the super chat. He said she's gonna regret it when she hit the wall past 35. I was listening to BGS about this, and he actually made some interesting points where he was sharing why he thinks a lot of this is a publicity stunt, which is true. You never really know for Hollywood. And I know his argument, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but his argument, right, was that at the end of the day, she's just building a brand, kind of like the Kardashians. She's doing the Kardashian blueprint. You just, you associate yourself with men of means, you associate yourself with men of power, men of influence, and then you build a brand off of that. And again, this goes back to my earlier point. For every woman out here who was saying that men are disposable, Lori Harvey would be nothing without her stepfather. She wouldn't have the brand. She wouldn't have the access to things. She'd just be another cute or pretty black girl. But she wouldn't be having all these opportunities, because it's not like she's necessarily, moving with extreme talent, singing or dancing or acting or anything like that. I mean, she's a pretty girl, but it's not like she has anything else that would necessarily have given her reason to get into those circles. So she's using her advantages. Right? She's kind of doing the Kim Kardashian model, or the Kardashian model, but without the men in her life that she associated with, that had the influence and had the means, she probably wouldn't be where she is today. And this is no knock to her, right? She's, she's making opportunities. She's probably working with a brand marketer or whatever it may be. But again, this shows that. Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me? Sorry. Can y'all hear me? My microphone just cut out. Let me try this again. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, so this shows you again that this debunks this whole fact that women can just treat men as disposable, because when women need to come up, a lot of times they'll try to connect themselves with men who are already where they want to be. Kardashian is prime example. I mean, even the whole Amber Heard case, they were talking about how Johnny Depp was the one that gave her access to a lot of different opportunities. Not to say she didn't have her own talent, but it's like, he introduced her to a lifestyle, let her use his assets, allowed her to stay in his home, like. So she basically gave him a platform. And so for all these women, again, treating men as disposable, conveniently overlooking the ways that women will use men, right? Or they will collaborate with men or their influence as a way to come up. It's like, stop the cap. Y'all are lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. And women, they love this fantasy. They love this idea of moving like Lori Harvey, not even really even knowing how she is. We don't know the state of Lori Harvey. We don't know. For all we know, this could all be a ploy. You know what I mean? She could just be promoting this whole Theo 4 lifestyle because it sells and be a Puritan behind closed doors. We don't know. Or she could be acting buck wild crazy and have, depression issues. She can have anxiety issues. She could be on meds. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know her mental state. We don't know her mental state. But women, they'll take this and they'll run with this. They will run with this because they like the image, they like the idea, and they think it's something new. And at the end of the day, it's not. This is nothing new. So I'm going to read a little passage from you. It's something I came across as I was meditating today in the scriptures. And I saw this. What I love about this passage is this thing was probably written thousands of years ago. But I read it today and I'm like, this sounds no different to me than modern women. This, what I see described thousands of years ago, is no different than the toxic women we see today. And that leads me back to my earlier point. So I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to read it real quick. Yeah, guys, if you're on here, get those likes up. Shout out to Hakeem. Shout out to Hakeem for showing love and support. It's always good to have you here. Yeah, guys, hit the like button if you're here. Okay. I see you make that money. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think honestly, I mean, she's definitely making use of her brand because sex sells. Sex sells. So she knows that. And the 304 image as well. The being a devout or a woman of integrity or a woman with sexual discipline, whatever, that's not what's being promoted. This toxic 304 culture, that's what's selling. So she's feeding into that. She is feeding into that. Okay, so let me read this real quick. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so this is a passage I was reading on Proverbs, right? So it said, okay, I saw among the simple, I noticed among the young men, a youth who had no sense. He was going down the street near her corner, walking along in the direction of her house at twilight as the day was fading, as the dark of the night set in. We all know that dude, y'all. We all know that dude or that guy who just is, I mean, we got a name for him, simp, right? Dudes out there who are just waiting to be taken advantage of. Right, are just dudes out there who are just clueless, who are completely clueless to how there are women out there who can be leeches, So we all know that dude. It says, then out came a woman to meet him, dressed like a prostitute and with crafty intent. She is unruly and defiant. Her feet never stay away. Let's just start there, y'all. A woman came out dressed like a prostitute with crafty intent. I mean, let's just think about your typical modern woman today. What's the kind of lifestyle? What's the kind of clothing? What's the kind of persona that is being promoted? Tell me a difference between what I just read to you. A woman dressed like a prostitute with crafty intent. Tell me how that description is any different than the modern woman that we see today. Please tell me if you can see a difference. I see no difference. I will continue. Now it says, this woman She is ruly and defiant. Her feet never stay at home. Now in the street, now in the squares, at every corner, she lurks. Y'all, ruly and defiant. Tell me, are modern women are they known to be ruly and defiant, or are they known to be respectable and submissive? Tell me. I mean, tell me. Um, so she is ruly and defiant. Her feet never stay at home. Now in the streets, now in the squares, at every corner she lurks. She took hold of him and kissed him, and with a brazen face she said, "Today I fulfilled my vows, and I have food from my fellowship offering at home. So I came out to meet you. I looked for you and have found you. I have covered my bed with colored linens from Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with cinnamon. Come, let's drink deeply of love till morning. Let's enjoy ourselves with love. My husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He took his purse filled with money and will not be home till moon." It says, with persuasive words, she led him astray. She seduced him with her smooth talk. All at once he followed her like an ox going to the slaughter, like a deer stepping into a noose, till an arrow pierced his liver, like a bird darting into a snare, little knowing it will cost him his life. If you go on to read that passage, it basically just outlines how this man got caught up with this treacherous woman who was portraying herself like a prostitute, portraying herself like a loose woman who had a crafty, bad intentions, was a soothsayer, know how to say or do the right things to get his attention. And she seduced him. She took advantage of him. And the end of that whole relationship was destruction. This is actually low-key. This is how I think guys end up become a red pill. They get caught up with the wrong woman. They get caught up with maybe a woman who looks good, or she's beautiful, or she's seductive, whatever it may be. Some women call it dark femininity. They get caught up with a woman that only has intentions to leech off of you, and it destroys their soul. And the issue is, we see in that passage the characteristics of that woman I just described. This was written thousands of years ago. The characteristics of that woman I just described: she's unruly and defiant. Unruly and defiant. She dresses like a prostitute. She is loose. It says she is out everywhere, roaming the streets, twerking at Walmart, twerking at the gas station, twerking at the grocery store, twerking at the funeral. She's everywhere. And yet, she, with her seductive words, she lulls men away. And she does it on purpose. And men they're led captive to that. And this is my bigger point. What I just described to you, something that was created years ago. That was written thousands of years ago. Describes a woman with ill intentions, she has bad motives, she has a bad spirit, and her goal is to take advantage of men, to use them for what she wants. To lead with her sexuality, to lead with her seductive, smooth words, and to essentially lead them astray. That was thousands of years ago. Fast forward today, and you have femininity channels literally using Lori Harvey as a scenario, using this as a scenario and saying, hey, we want to be like her, we want to be like this. And I'm not even saying this is who Lori Harvey is. I'm not saying this is her at all. I'm just literally, like I said, everybody is taking the little that we know and reading into it. But what I do see is women taking what we see as the optics and saying, okay, what I see, that's how I want to live. And then they go a step further and say, no, we should actively take advantage of men. We should actively, and they'll use words like explore your options, you know what I mean? Find yourself, yada, yada, yada. But there is never a conversation about how to actually be self-respectful. And if anything, the idea of treating men disposable is something to laugh about. It's something to be excited about. It's something to show as it's a power to attain. Because you want to compete with them, because you want to be them, because you don't respect them. And that's what I'm saying. This is not anything new. This is an old playbook. And women who find themselves operating with that spirit, with those evil intentions, with those motives, will themselves have the same end that this woman and this passage that I read the same men that she has. Those women, these women, they don't end up well, because when you lead based upon evil intentions, you will have evil results. They don't end well. I mean, you may have fun in the meantime. You may have immediate fun. You may have some cool things happen immediately. But at the end of that kind of behavior, it's usually destructive. It is usually destructive. So, like I said, people are going to do whatever they want to do. People are going to use this as a situation. They're going to use this as a situation to push whatever propaganda they want, and that's fine. I mean, part of this is on purpose. Part of this is probably just a publicity ploy. But what I will say is, any woman who's going to look at this and say, "Yeah, this not only do I want to move the way that she is moving, I want to purposefully treat men as disposable. I'm going to purposefully explore my options. I'm going to purposefully date around with no intention of committing to any of those guys I date, with the expectation that they pay for me because my presence is enough. And then at the end, I'm going to win." No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Period. And again, I'm not saying, of course, I mean, I have been like going on a rant here. What I am not saying, I'm not saying that this is every single case a woman is like this. Of course, we know that there are cases where men get taken advantage of. Of course, we know this. Of course, or there are women are taking advantage of for men. Of course, we know that there's guys with bad intentions. Like, no one is caping and saying that all men are perfect. I've never said that and never will say that. But today we're focusing on women. And today we're focusing on women because of the amount of BS that I see. And again, this is another prime example for some men to say, okay, SYSBM. If this is the kind of behavior that's being promoted within America, if this is the kind of behavior I see being promoted among black women being celebrated, SYSBM. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna find a wife elsewhere. I'm gonna go to, I don't know, Thailand. I'm gonna go to the Dominican Republic. I'm gonna go to Latin America. I'm gonna go to Africa. SYSBM. And could you blame them? I would not. No men should ever get themselves in a situation with a woman who has intentions to suck them dry like a leech. No woman should ever do that. No woman should ever do that. I would never recommend that. So, and the other cold party I see in there. I'm just gonna be real too. A lot of these women over here talking about they don't want marriage. I call cap. Because if you're a woman talking about you don't want marriage, it's not that big of a deal. Don't even y'all just anybody can have marriage, yada yada. Those same women will post about who's sleeping with who, post marriage photos, post pictures of their favorite celebrities who got engaged. I call cap. Women in particular who fear monger so much about marriage. Fear monger. You would feel like marriage is slavery. They equate marriage to slavery, where the woman is just cooking and cleaning with chains on her back, and she's muling and she never sleeps and she always works and she's never appreciated. And y'all, have I was I just talking about myself the whole time? Well, I see audio. Is my audio out, y'all? Is my audio out? Okay, can you guys hear me now? I'm sorry, I'm hearing some audio stuff. I'm hearing some audio stuff. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. I think my audio is back. Let me know if you can hear me now. Okay, so I just wanted a whole tangent. So let me redo my tangent. First of all, yes, hit that like button. Y'all hit that like button, please. Also, so what I was saying is, going back to women, this goes out to, specifically goes out to women out right there who who demonize marriage. who spend so much time saying, I don't even want marriage. Marriage isn't even all that important. We don't even, how do you know we don't even want marriage? And like I said, this is no shade to those who don't. But for those who specifically will go out of the way to say, I don't want marriage, create videos talking about how marriage is slavery. They equate marriage to slavery as if the woman is always cooking and cleaning with chains on her back, chains on her hands and her feet. She never sleeps. She never rests. She's being beaten all the time. She's being talked down to. All the man does is just sit around on the couch and just drink beer all the day while she works 5 jobs and he does nothing. And they create this whole narrative of the woman just being treated like a dog. They say they don't care about marriage, yet all they do is talk about it. And then every 15 seconds, they're posting pictures about different celebrities who got engaged, different pictures of weddings, pictures of people they know who got married. I call cap. It's like, I call cap. You say you don't care about marriage, but you're always talking about it. You're always shaming it. And what I think is going on, quite honestly, is that these women intrinsically know that they're not going to get married, or they intrinsically believe that they don't have what it takes to actually get the men that they want. They don't have what it takes to get the men that they want to be married to. So instead of accepting that truth and saying, hey, maybe I'm not marriage material, maybe the men that I want don't want me, or maybe I have qualities that unqualifies me right now, instead of admitting that and maybe working on that, they'd rather just shame the very thing they think they can't get. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of these women I call cap, because if you didn't care about marriage, then we wouldn't see you talking about, oh, well, he needs to propose. We wouldn't see you posting about, women getting married, honeymoon destinations, wedding dresses, rings. You wouldn't see that. We wouldn't see that. And so I think a lot of this stuff is just us lying to ourselves. And that's what I'm here to say. At the end of the day, like I said, there's certain women that they are married. They are married to their delusion. So women who are married to their delusion and they have no ability to accept or acknowledge anything ever being wrong with them, you kind of gotta let them handle themselves. No amount of facts, no amount of preaching and teaching, no amount of convincing, no amount of reasoning will ever get them to change. They themselves have to decide to change. I'm here, however, to just yet again remind women, just put it out there, that what we see being passed off as normal, what we see being promoted as good or healthy or respectable or a new way of doing things, not only is this old news, actually it's destructive. It is incredibly destructive. So as I said before, there's never a reason where any woman can or should justify treating men as disposable, promoting misandry, sleeping around. And here's another thing. Here's another little thing I want to mention. I heard someone said this and I was like, you're so right. Because first off, a lot of these women, let's just be real. They're competing with men. The reason they like Lori Harvey is because they're competing with men and they feel like she basically represents to them this landmark of like, hey, we can do it too. Men can sleep around and break hearts and hop from person to person, yada yada yada. They can do it. We can do it too. These women are competing, and you know that because when you even listen to what they're saying, they usually always say, "Well, if men can do it, I can do it. Well, if he did it, I can do it." So they're using men as their metric point. They're using men as their baseline. So, but here's the thing about it. They're emulating toxic masculinity. Because again, men who are actually on their purpose, men who are actually doing things right, building their brand, focusing on themselves, focusing on their health, their mental health, business, whatever, they're not going around just having a whole bunch of different sex, just going around getting emotionally involved with all these different women. Like, they're not doing that. D-discipline, they call it, that's a real thing. That is a real thing. So these women who over here thinking that they won because they can now do what men have done, quote unquote, successfully, they're emulating toxic masculinity. That's the cold part. That is the cold part. So that's what I'm saying. It's like men of means and men of value don't even act that way. They don't go on hopping in and out of different beds. You don't have the energy to do that, to get all emotionally involved with a whole bunch of different females. If you're building your brand or building a business, focusing on your own mental health, focusing on your relationship with God, focusing on, trying to get your money up, you don't have the money to be hopping in and out of bed with a whole bunch of different girls. That's what we call the Pookies and the Ray Rays. So again, women we see competing with men, they're competing based upon toxic masculinity. And that's what I'm saying. I call cap. I call cap. At the end of the day, there has always been a group of women who has hated rebellion, who has hated authority, who does not like men, who has wanted to exercise control and power over them. That has always existed. That has always existed. And they've used their sexuality and they've used their femininity. They've used their femininity to hurt men, to hurt people, to take advantage of people. And they do that for their own sick pleasure. Those kind of women have always existed, and they still exist today. And what I'm saying is that we can try to pretend like this is a new era or a new dawn, or women are waking up. We can pretend like it, but you're still operating under the same spirit as that woman I just read, just a few minutes ago. Some of us, some of us hear it called Jezebel Spirit. Some know it as dark femininity. Whatever, however you define it, that's that same evil persona. It's always been around. And if you are buying into that toxic mindset, which many women are, you're going to have the same bad negative results. Jezebel, if you're familiar with that story, Jezebel, she had a pretty horrible end. She had a pretty horrible end. Oftentimes when people think of a manipulative woman, they use the term Jezebel Spirit. It's a concept that you find in the Bible. But her, she manipulated her husband Ahab, and she did all kinds of evil things to try to manipulate and get power and control. She not only was she destroyed, she was eaten by the dogs. She had one of the most one of the most wicked ends. And see, I'm not saying this is like I'm not trying to fear monger, and I'm not trying to get people scared just for the sake of being scared. But there is a reality that when you play with fire, you can get burned. And this is what I hear happening. This is what I hear happening. It's not good. It's not good. And it is not new. It is not new. So like I said, there is nothing new under the sun. These women thinking that they're so innovative are playing with old spirits, are playing with old toxic ideas that our parents and our elders warned us against. They're playing with fire. And I hope they do not get burned. I really do. And I'm just here to tell you, you may not agree with me. I'm sure there's plenty of you who don't. But I'm here to tell you, if you look at this whole Lori Harvey situation, and then you buy into the lie that women, not only should they have the freedom to hop from men to men, use them and abuse them or treat them like they're disposable, secure the bag, do whatever, you're going to be able to just take advantage of people. And then when you're ready to settle down, the wave's going to be made for you. You're going to have a great life. You're going to have a great way. No. First of all, just like I said, economically, that doesn't make sense. Secondly, we've already heard about the concept of the wall. Women I know out there's women out there who don't want to accept it. You can deny that all you want. The thing is, the market already tells you what they want. The market tells you. So as women, we can deny the wall doesn't exist. That's imaginary. No one has the wall. We have the right to believe that. But when we're going out into the marketplace, right, and we're putting the bid out, and we're trying to be bought, for lack of a better term, we're trying to find a match. They're going to be the ones who determine. The market is going to be the one to determine the value at the end of the day. Period. So we can act like the wall exists or doesn't exist. But however we look at it, if you are in a relationship with a man and you want men, They're going to tell you what you want. They've already spoken. They have already spoken, and that's what I'm saying. You think you can get one over on guys? You can get one over on just mankind on God? Like you can't do that. You just shouldn't do that, and we shouldn't have a culture where women are promoted or celebrated for really honestly disrespecting men, disrespecting the image of God, quite literally. Because if you hate men, which is what we see, if you hate men, if you hate people, then you hate a reflection of God Himself, because man and woman came from God. So you hate God. And you think that's gonna come? You think you're gonna really have good results? Really? No, 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 no. No. And secondly, like I said, half of y'all can't even afford this kind of lifestyle. Lori Harvey, she could be branding herself and behind closed doors, like I said, be a total Puritan. We don't know. We don't know. But a lot of these women out here promoting this party stripper lifestyle. I discussed this a few days ago. Beyonce, she promotes this whole single lady, single. She's done plenty of stuff. She's living a traditional. She's going home at the end of the day, submitting herself to her husband. Same as Ciara. She's doing all this crazy stuff, all this crazy stuff. At the end of the day, going home married. These same independent women promoting this same independent party girl lifestyle. At the end of the day, got themselves married and are going home and submitting to their husbands. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the stuff is just cap. It's like, can we just be honest for what? Can we just be honest? We just be honest. A lot of y'all ladies out there, you don't even have good relationships with men. You don't know how to, and you're upset about it. So that's what I got, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It's all good. That's what I got, y'all. I would wish I could stay on, but I actually have to go pick up my car. Like I said, today was an interesting day. Today was a very interesting day, but this was good. This was good. Like I said, just to wrap things up, again, thank you for those of you guys who showed support. Also, please hit that like button for sure before you head out. And as I said, at the end of the day, we see it clearly. We see it very, very, very clearly. Um, there's women out there who they just don't want to change. It is what it is. So I'm not going to sit here and try to waste my time on them. They're not going to change. But if you are one who is, if you're out there, you're seeking, you got to know what you're being told, what you're being sold. Likely, it's a lie. Let me straight up tell you, it's a lie. What you're being told is a lie. You should not go around using your younger years, increasing a body count, or at the very least, increasing your sexual romantic experiences, treating men as disposable, and then thinking that life is going to go well for you in the relationship department or in the department general. You shouldn't do that. First of all, if you're going to be honest, as far as men are concerned, if you're increasing your body count, you're lowering your value, period. I'm not saying you're lowering your value as a human being, but as far as your value on the dating relationship market, you are increasing your body count, you are decreasing your value. That's how men are looking at it. So if you think you can go and just get a higher body count, sleep around like you're not going to have any repercussions, and then you're going to now all of a sudden go and your 30s and your 40s and 50s and bid at top dollar, you are delusional. On top of that, if you buy into the toxic motive that you yourself should take advantage of men as if it's a sport, you also are tripping. You also have been lied to. You also have fallen into an old playbook that does not end well. So I am here to tell you, half of the stuff you see being told to you is a lie. A lot of these women promoting this modern day lifestyle where you can party and have sex or have romantic experiences and treat yourself like a prostitute, treat yourself like a 304, and still go and be respectable when you decide to. A lot of these women are lying to you themselves. They go home and submit to their husbands every single night. They go get in the kitchen and clean, wash them some, wash the laundry or cook them some food or whatever. They go home and submit to their husbands. They are lying to you because sex sells right now, because being a prostitute sells. But as I said before, there's always been a difference between a prostitute and a wife. There's always been a difference. There's always been a difference. Men have always made a distinction between prostitutes and wives, between wives and concubines. That has always existed. Now is no different. So if you think that you can do both successfully, no. And if you play with fire, you will probably get burned. I'm here to tell you, you will probably get burned. Men are probably not your problem. If you find yourself surrounded by women who all they do is talk about how horrible men is all day, then you probably need to get some new friends. You probably need to expand your circle. There's probably time to go out, maybe go to some new meetups. I don't know. Maybe go check out a few churches. Maybe go to a ballgame. I don't know. Get some new friends. If everyone around you is telling you how horrible men is, get some new friends. You're being lied to. You're being lied to, and you're being got. And at the end of the day, the cold part about it is women who believe this kind of stuff. They really think that they really think that they have the upper hand. They're the ones at the end are going to find out they're being got. And those are the women, honestly, instead of admitting it, they end up creating channels or creating platforms in their 50s and 60s, trying to tell women to divest, trying to tell women to expand their options because they're dusties and they're nakers and all. I mean, that those a lot of those are the kind of women that we see behind these platforms promoting misandry, because they're the ones who brought into the lie in the 20s and 30s, and they found out that it didn't treat them well. And instead of admitting that and owning that and maybe trying to do better moving forward, they'd rather continue to blame men and then poison other women. And I think that's a problem. So just know you're being lied to. You're being lied to. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Be sure to hit that like button. Again, guys, if you'd like to show support to the show, please do so. Find me on Cash App or Venmo, Shay Charday. Thank you for bearing with me. I had, like I said, every intention of doing this earlier in the day and of camming up and all that, and just life happened. But we're here. We are here. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for being here, and stay tuned for other upcoming content. Hit that like button if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll talk later, guys. Bye.